Yo guys, what up? So back again playing in Blender Octane. Gonna be a short one today, about 30 minutes, but it's okay because I've already kind of been practicing, or not practicing, but playing in Blender. And I'm gonna quickly show you what we're going to work on today. So I am a fan of Ducky 3D, and I do have his motion graphic course. So I was going through this, and this was one of the things that he did today, or not today, in the lesson. He did this in cycles. So of course, me doing Octane, I want to see, can I do this in Octane Blender? And I was able to achieve that. This is not the full animation. He has this full looping animation. My major concern was just the actual materials and following along with that. So sorry guys, sorry. Grab your cup of coffee and let's go. So I'm gonna try to go through this in one time. I literally have enough time to do it one time. So here we go. I've already finished it. Let me quickly show you what's going on here. So we've basically set up this geometry here in the node editor here. I make this kind of full screen here if you guys want to kind of screenshot that. That's what's going on here. So this is what we're using. Bada bing, bada boom to set all that up, right? But again, like I said, it was supposed to be animated. My concern was all about shading. I wanted to see if I can follow along, and I figured it out. So this is what we got going here. Let me show you guys the shader setup. This is the full shader setup, and for those of you who are in the community, for those of you guys who are in the community, I will have this file available. And for those of you who are not, I will post a photo of this setup here, okay? So again, if you guys do not know, I do have, instead of a, like a Patreon or something like that, I do have a Blender community. And in this Blender community, instead of just having a Patreon and you only just get to watch exclusive videos, here you get to watch exclusive videos here in the classroom, plus a whole bunch of stuff that members in the group are cultivating. So we got lots of Octane stuff, even some VFX stuff, right? And then we even got the community, which is the most important part of it. Like, you get so much feedback from the community on how to do things. We're working on this tips of week. What were the things, your aha moments in Blender that you found out? And then people are posting their, problems, and we're all working together to solve these problems. So it's really cool. So if you're into that, it's probably, I was gonna have a Patreon, and I was gonna say the Patreon for like, $10 a month, but for the same thing here, you're getting more than just exclusive videos. You're getting a community of people who are actually engaging in the community, and and you get the videos, and you get access to live private streams when I do them, because sometimes I do live streams only in this group, and you just get to be a part of a massive community. How much is this? It's $9.9, or it's actually just a flat $9 a month. Again, that's 32 cents a day. If you wanted to break it down, you could save $1 a day and have your whole 3 months covered. So look into that. Enough of the jibber jabber. Blender community, links down in the description. So here's the setup we're going to build here, and let's get it. I hope I can build it in one time, in the first time go. So I'm going to kill that. We got this new one here, and again, here is the plane. And as far as world setup, I have it's just a black world, no lighting, and let the render kick in. And why is it still showing the material? Oh, I know why, because in the geo nodes it's set. Okay, so let me get a new material. I'm gonna call this Geo2, and we're gonna start off with that there, and then I'm gonna go back to my geo nodes, come in here, and I'm gonna change this material set to Geo2. Okay, now we come back over here to shading and fire this up. This should be nothing, right? Yep, there it is, nothing. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, let me go ahead and get my notes ready. The first thing we need is we already got one material here, so we're going to use this material. I'm going to go full screen, and what we're going to do here is we basically just want we want to build the emission first. Okay, so what we're going to do is come in here, go to emission. I'm just going to do a texture emission because I want to play with the colors on this one, right? So we're going to do this blue kind of teal color, right? And I'm going to crank this thing up here to maybe like 3000. All right, so I've got this emission going on here. And then from the emission, what we're going to need is we're going to need a wave texture, because we're going to do this wave pattern that's going to come inside of here, right? So we're going to come in here, shift, we're going to go wave pattern. There's our wave pattern. And then what we're going to also need is, of course, a gradient map. Oh, Blender crashed. That totally sucked. Shall I? We're live. This is what happens when you go live. Let's reboot and do it again. That's what happens when you go live. Everything will be fine when you're not live, and the minute you hit the live button, things go wrong. That's just the way it is, right? Love it. I love it. All right, so let's go back to geo nodes. Rinse, repeat. Click on this here. I'm going to kill that. Did it save it? Nope, it didn't save at all. Oh, I don't have my save plugin going on, which I wish I should have. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. We're going to go to shading editor again. I'm going to close that panel because we don't need that. And then I'm going to come in here. And then we're going to go close that off. We're going to go Geo2, new pattern. Geo2. I'm going to hit save a whole bunch of times while we're doing this. Okay. Then we're going to go back over to our Geo nodes. Put that in the material slot. Geo2. Bada bing, bada boom. Come back over here. We're going to hit save. Okay, good. Now I'm going to come back in here. And here's our material. Again, we're just going to put that color. We're going to put that emission on it. Texture environment, emission. We're going to make it blue. Okay, I'm going to save just in case. Do it again. Right, we're going to bring in a gradient map. Maybe it was because okay, no, we're okay so far. We're going to bring in a gradient map. Next, we're going to bring in a wave generator. Or wave pattern, sorry. Okay, we're going to save one more time just in case, right? Okay, good. Now that we got this going on, it seems like it's going to hold up. I'm going to take this right here, this gradient map, and I'm going to plug it into the transmission property. I'm going to plug it into the opacity. Now, what I've been doing recently is I always just come in here and click on that and do that. Well, I just got a new tip from somebody in the community. Hold shift, hold alt, right mouse click, hold, drag over, release. And now we can just drop it straight in here using you can choose and put it where you want it to put. So it's a lot easier and a lot quicker, especially when you're not using this big node right here. For example, when you're using a smaller node, it's really convenient. Okay. So got that going. Now what we're going to do, for example, I'm going to again, shift alt, drag over, release. I'm going to plug this into input texture. Boom, just like that. Love it. Cool. Now let's see what we've got going here. So let me say one more time and let's go ahead and jump over. And let's fire up the render. And is it going to crash? It shouldn't crash. I don't know why it crashed. It probably crashed because I hadn't restarted in a while. I took a nap and it was sitting there running the whole time. Okay, good. So that's what we got going. This is the wave pattern that we got going. But we want these waves to like conform to the geometry, which it's not doing at the moment. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add in a XYZ projection. I'm just going to click on this and it should be, oh no, actually I'm not going to do that, undo. I'm actually just going to go projection, XYZ projection. And then from here, I'm going to actually click on this one again, XYZ transform. I'm going to go to 3D transform. Boom, boom, boom. We got those going there. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to change this right here from X to Z. Okay. And now you can kind of see what's happening. We can see it's kind of like conforming to the geo, to the displacement. But what I want to do is let's crank on that a little bit, because I'm actually going to just go and grab this and go like that. Actually, I need to flip it. I probably need to flip it. Let's go ahead and flip the ramp. And then let's take the black value and crunch it down. And there we go. See what we're doing now? We're isolating that a little bit there, like controlling it. Okay. So that looks cool. And then let me take a look at my notes. What are we gonna do next? I changed this from sign. I went to saw, like that. And then I think I even changed the black and white values on here. I think I just changed this to black. Yeah, and then I changed this one here to white. Then we go to saturation, put that to 0. Okay, now it really defines it, right? I probably could have flipped those, and that's when I first made this. That's probably why I was having issues, because instead of having to flip the ramp, let me try it really quick. I'm gonna flip this back, and then I'm gonna switch this to white, and then I'm gonna switch this to black. Okay, and then I'm gonna open up this back. And now if I grab the white, no, didn't change, right? So whatever. I think I had the way I had it was the original was better. Let's flip the ramp in to see if we can crush the blacks here. It still does the same thing, so that doesn't really matter. Always experimenting, guys, always experimenting. Okay, good. So that's what we got going here. That's conforming to the geo, and then it's actually going up and down to the displacement map. Cool. Now what I want to do, let me quickly take a look at my notes. I think I also changed the size over here. I think I had went down to like 0.4. Yeah, and that just makes it smaller, so we're getting more of the lines like that. That looks cool. And then what we're going to need to do next is we're going to add in the top part, like this orange color here, opposite. If my photo here will slide over so I can see what's next. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do, go ahead and close that out so I don't have the laggy viewport. I'm going to go here and add in a material, mixed material. Now, quick note, in cycles, it's called I think a mix shader, you know, and you have a mix shader and you have a mix, what is it? What's the other one? A color mix. Well, for us, the mix shader inside of Octane is going to be a mix material, and this mixes materials. It mixes these universal materials, everything with the brown tip, specular material, metallic materials. It mixes them. The color mixer, or for us, is actually a texture. Where is it at? A mixed texture, actually. Let's go mix mixed texture. The mixed texture allows us to mix like these gradient, anything with the green, the gradient maps, stuff like that. We can mix those here. So this will be our color shader in cycles. This will be a mixed shader in cycles, and here it's a mixed material, and here it's a mixed texture. Okay, we need the mixed material because we're going to make a second material. And our second material, what we're going to need, let's quickly save, is we're going to add in another gradient map. Okay, we're going to add in our gradient map. Then we're also going to need a gradient gradient, hang on here, generator. Okay, and this is like your what you use to generate a gradient map in cycles, right? This is our gradient generator. So we're going to plug that into the texture, and then what we're going to do, actually this is going to be for our, I'm actually a little bit ahead of myself. This is going to be and into our amount here. Okay, but hang on, let me get back to our, which will be our first material, because we're going to make this our second material. Okay, so let's save that for a moment here. Let's go ahead and bring in another universal material. I'm going to shift drag this one up here because it's already condensed down. And then what we're going to do on this one here is we're going to give this one pretty much the same setup. Take this, I'm going to drag this, duplicate this, and then I'm going to press Shift Alt, right middle mouse, drag, release. I'm going to go down to the emission, scroll down to emission, and there's an, I keep scrolling down too fast. I think it was faster just to plug it in. Admission, but I'm just trying to build this new habit of using this because it is quicker when I'm doing, once I get the hang of it. So once we got that, then I'm going to need to also do a, what is it, gradient map. I'm going to do Okay, this one just needs to be color. This one's just going to be the color. So let's go to change it to like orange or something. Okay. And then we're going to plug this one actually into slot 2. And then this one's going to be slot 1. Actually slot first material, right? And this is going to be second material. And I'm just going to drag that down here just so I can visually see that. All right. Clock is ticking. I'm like in a rush. I got to get out of here in 15 minutes. So now we're going to do on this top here. Here's our top part. And let's quickly just save. And just let's see what we've got going here. We just have a mixture of basically 2 emissions. That's all we're really looking at right now. And there it is, 2 emissions, right? Nothing special. Okay, so what I want to do on this other system, we're going to crank this up to like 1,000. Not 100, 1,000. Okay, good. So now up on this top one, I'm going to plug this into the amount. Scroll this down into there. I'm going to crush some values. I'm going to flip this ramp here. And then I'm going to crush some values again. And then what we need to do is, again, we need to flip this gradient map, okay? So what I did also on this gradient map here, or gradient generator, I selected, this should be 1. This goes all the way down to 3, which is the minimum amount. And then what did I do? I added in a UV transform. And then I went to this middle one and I went 90. And then I went into, actually, no, I didn't do that first. I needed to add in a projection. There's our XY projection. Then I'm going to plug this into there. And again, I'm trying to practice my, come on, don't crash. Let it do its thing. It says waiting. Okay, boom, there we go. So now this is the part that really baffled me, because when Ducky was doing it on this part, it worked perfectly fine for him. But this gradient generator is a little bit more advanced than the gradient generator inside of Cycles. Like, we got way more control. We got way more stuff on here, right, to deal with. So like mine, for some reason, every time I do this, like if you crunch these values, you can see what we're trying to do. I'm just trying to have it on the top here. I'm just trying to have it just on the top of the mountains. But every time I try to do that, it seems like we're getting some other part. See, it's like reversed or it's upside down. And then when I get it to this section here, it's like, okay, that's what I want. But why is this part super, fully lit? Like it's a clipping value or something going on. So the way I fix that, let me go ahead and set this back over here. And let me set this back over here. Is on ours, we have this repetition mode. And right now it's on wraparound. Well, I don't want it to wrap around. I want it to be in mirrored. Okay. Now when we have it in mirrored, now I can control it like I would the one in Cycles. And now I can just basically, boom, you can see what it's work. I can control how much of this is going to be in the actual, the height of it. Like I'm controlling the height and the fall off of it. Right. So if I open it all the way up, let it update for a moment. We're just getting it on the tops, but the fall off is very wide and very big and very soft, right? So I can fix that by cranking on the white a little bit. Actually too much there. And just trying to get it to like be on the peaks a little bit. And then this will be really cool, especially if you're doing like a mountain and you want it to have snow on top. This setup was kind of like where you can control it procedurally where you want this snow to kind of be, right? Let me crank it down. Now we're seeing, the more closer I get here, we're getting the very top of it is becoming more fully, to the value, I think 1 or something like that. But basically it's getting brighter and you can see we're adding more in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this a little bit more towards something like this. And then again, if I want this fall off to happen a little bit more, I can pull this white one down here and just open it up a little bit. You can see now we're going down a little bit more into it. Something like that. So let's let this see. And let me go ahead and jump in. Let's just save this really quickly. And let's jump into the camera. And matter of fact, let me just go ahead and jump over to a different layout. Okay, so we can really see what we're doing here. Come on, don't crash on me, baby. Don't crash. And is it gonna crash? Oh, there it is. Nice. So we can see what's happening. Let me go ahead and kill the overlays. Boom. There it is. So I'm happy that I was able to do this because literally, like, I don't want to show you the video of Ducky because that's a paid course, and that's not fair to Ducky that I'll be showing that, and that's a paid course. But in this course, he animates this, and it's like we're doing like how Ducky loops things. So he loops this terrain, and then he has this going. We're moving forward, and it's really cool. And my major concern was like, can I reproduce that style that he was doing with the shading? And this is basically it. So then the next fun part would be just to, you know, to come in here and just start beefing up the render a little bit. So like, let me go ahead and kill it over here. And then I would like open it up over here. And just kind of, you know, play with it now. Brighten up, maybe we want it a little bit more brighter. And then we get to play with, you know, Octane's image processing. Okay, hang on, let it fire up. And then I did figure out a couple of things too. So one thing that I was misunderstood was like when you come in here and you see this ACES tone mapping button here, and if you click it, we'll see, boom, we see the viewport change, and it looks, oh, that looks really nice, right? Well, when you're rendering this, technically you're not rendering this. You are technically rendering this. This is just ACES tone mapping in the viewport. In order for me to actually output this, I would have to go into my settings here, and we go down to your output. If you scroll down here at the bottom, there's this little tab right here, Octane output. You need to check this. And once this is checked, then you need to come in here to your file type, switch from PNG to EXR. And when you're in EXR, there's another one here, color space. Click on the color space, and then boom, here it is, ACES CG or ACES 2065 here. I would use ACES CG. Now I'm technically exporting what I'm seeing in the viewport. I'm exporting the ACES file. So again, I would say this as EXR. Maybe I'll bring this into DaVinci Resolve because DaVinci Resolve is really easy to set up ACES workspace and then do my editing, my post-processing inside of there. And boom, I'm working in a true ACES. I'm going from an ACES render to an ACES workflow. But for me at the moment, I do all my posts in Photoshop, and I haven't figured out, or I haven't set it up yet to work in ACES color space inside of Photoshop. So I just leave it like this now. For now, I turn that off. I turn off the Octane output. But technically, I don't even really use this anymore now because I know that I'm not exporting that. So if you wanted to, I did have a video where I showed you guys how to bring in AGX. So if I can pop in AGX, that's what the AGX looks like. And if I go to Punchy, that's kind of like, it looks nice. Not too bad here, right? I'm going to go ahead and use the camera imager here and just kind of play with this, kind of brighten it up a little bit. Maybe something like that, like 2 on the exposure. And then what I will like to do is come down here to my Octane post-processing. And then here I have, let me set this back to 0 for a moment. Here I have my bloom, which I have like, let's set it up, crank it up. There's like 50 on bloom. And then I would basically come in here, and then I even go to glare. We can go to 50 on the glare, right? And then just come here and I hold shift, and then I, cut it off. Where's the cutoff? We only want to get the really brightest areas. We don't want the whole thing bloomed out, right? It just looks a little bit too overkill, right? So I'm just kind of like, I'm actually looking right here in this corner here. I'm looking at how far is it coming out from there to just kind of, see where I like it. Like, I want it just a little bit popping off there, a little bit, just off the top there. Maybe even I'll go 1.3. Just over exaggerated. It's a little sci-fi-ish look. This blue to me is looking a little bit not bright enough. So what I want to do here, I don't want to make a cut. Let's go ahead and quickly save. I'm going to jump back over to the shading tab one more time. And then I'm gonna crank the value up on that a little bit as far as on that blue layer. So that was this one here. And yeah, this one's set at a 100. I think I had this originally like at 3000. Wow! A little bit too much here, 2000. Okay, now I need to go back and we need to reset our settings here with the bloom. Again, always with bloom, you want to be subtle with that. Everybody likes to crank that sucker up, you know, but it just makes your render look a little bit cheap, right? So we want to be easy on that stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down shift again, and I'm going to go ahead and crank that back up to get a cool little value there. Maybe something like that. And then I think I'm going to take this bloom. I'm actually going to divide it by half. Kind of knock that down a little bit. And then even maybe on the glare here, I'm going to go to also divide by half. So that's a good rule of thumb. Right when you think you got it where you want it, divide it by half. Just divide it by half. That looks a lot better, right? I think I like that a lot better. So boom. And then I could, you know, just start playing with it, like maybe beef up the saturation on this color here, but I don't have time for all that. I just wanted to quickly show you guys this really cool little setup here. And I think Ducky actually does have a tutorial on this on his YouTube page on this same style of typographical, you know, setup here. So again, this is something I've been trying to do, is following my favorite YouTubers and seeing if I can convert their cycles video into Octane. And it is a little bit of a pain, but right now, due to some of the skills that I've been learning from the community, I'm able to get it to work. So let me quickly here, probably gonna go ahead and render this out once we get off here. Let me go ahead and stop this for a second here. Go to shading, and let's go ahead and see if I can bring back the camera. There it is. Good. So it worked out good. I'm a little bit happy. There's another section where he does add like some noise, a little bit of a noise pattern into this, which we can easily do. I just don't have the time, but we can easily add a noise pattern to this material here and really mix it up and just really start to make it your own, right? I'm going to quickly again open this up here so you guys can see. I'm going to save a picture of this. I will have this picture available to download in the description in about an hour or so. Once I get back, I'll load up a photo so you guys can rebuild this and have fun with it. And just again, learning the nodes of Octane is what you need to do. And the way I've been learning the quickest and the fastest by reverse engineering stuff. Like find your favorite video and just try to see if you can follow along with Octane. And if you don't, you know, just figure out, you got to get off the path and try different nodes. Like I couldn't follow along for him once he added that generator. Once I got to here, like it would not work. And I'm like, it's not working. What's not working? And I knew that it had to be within this generator because everything up until this point worked until I got to here. So I started just trying to break it, playing with the settings, max them out, put them to the lowest setting, max it, each one, max it out, go to the low setting, invert it, and didn't work. Add an UV transform, change the projection. I changed it to box, it didn't work. I changed it to spherical, just a whole bunch of stuff. And then I finally got down to the last one here at the bottom, and I'm like, okay, I went to white color, black color, clamp value. No, didn't work. And then the last one I chose was mirror, because mirror didn't make sense to me. I was like, mirror, I don't want to mirror what's happening. I want it to be fixed. And mirror was the one that actually worked. So other than that, I was able to do everything, you know, using the mixed material node. Again, this is a mixed shader node. And then we basically have here, which is just an emission. That's all it is. This is our version of an emission node. This would be just a single node in cycles. For us, we always have to have an emission node connected to to a universal material or to a diffuse material. You have to have it connected. And then, yo, bro, oh, my brother, the one and only. Hans, what's up, bro? What is up? So I had that connected to this. That's our emission node. And then my universal here again, which is another emission node. But this time, instead of having to have a transparent node, we just use the opacity. And I plug in my gradient map with my wave pattern. And then here's our projections at the end, and then our transform. It's all the same as it would be in cycle. It just looks different. And believe it or not, Octane has a lot more options. Like look at the generator in cycles and then look at our generator. We got way more options again. And that's what I'm starting to see the trend is. Octane just has more options, and it's to the point where it's super confusing. It looks scary. It has so many options. I mean, you look at our general universal material, or our version of a BFD, principal BFD. It's massive. We just have more options, and once you get more advanced, you can really start to take advantage of those options, right? So that's what that's looking like. Let's see. Well, where was it? Render results. It doesn't show the, oh, that's right, because it crashed, right? So we couldn't see what we were working on. So I'm happy with it. It came out all right. Mission was completed. And let's let the render fire back up. Boom, there it is. I was able to follow that along with Ducky 3D in his tutorial. So, and that was just one of the lessons. There's a lot of lessons that he has in his little course. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and be sharing out this to the community. This file will be in the Blender community, the Blender Octane community. And again, like I said, for those of you who are not in the community, I will save the photo for you guys out, but you might want to consider jumping in the community. It's only $9 right now, but in the future, as we start adding more exclusive videos, and with shaders, we're building up one. This is just with shaders, like people are starting to build shaders. Once this gets more massive, the price is going up, guys, right? So literally it's $9. You get in, you're grandfathered in at $9, because once it goes up and once we start adding some really tight stuff that's not available anywhere else, the price will go up. And then you're gonna be like, damn it, I should have got in when it was only $9, right? You should have got in when I sent the free invite. I did send a free invite to everybody. Open up for 2 weeks. I told people, get in, get in. All those people who are in, that got in at the 2 weeks, got in for free. Now I'm telling you now, get in for the $9, because the price will go up in the future. So enough of the jibber jabber and salesman. Patrick LeVar, keep rendering. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Definitely Hassan, I'll see you in the group. And definitely Mac Duffy, what up? I'll catch you guys in the next one. I got 2 minutes to go pick up my daughter from school. Peace. See ya.